Hello YouTube, what's up? It's me, Amaxter, back with episode 7 of Behind the Mod. And for this episode, we have Ganymedes joining us, who is the author of Et Futurum, the Gany's Mods trio, Another One Bites the Dust, and many other mods. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
No problem. It's an honor to have you on here. And I guess I'd like to start with, like we do all the time, with how you, I guess, got started modding for Minecraft.
I was in uni and I got I got called into a project that involved learning Java. And I've always played Minecraft. My friends always prompted me to play it, and I liked it. And since I started learning Java, I thought might as well give it a try. And then I watched Pahimar's Let's Mod series, learned the basics of it, and just got started with it. The the first mod I did was Gany Surface. Was the very first thing that I ever did, and the first thing I ever added was the poop. It's something. It's something I've always wanted in Minecraft. I always thought it was obnoxious to have to hunt for skeletons to get bone meal, so you can bone meal your crops. So I thought, what's a good way around that? Fertilizer. How to get fertilizer? Poop.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. I think the most distinctive thing I've included Gany's service in some of my mod packs, and people always remember the poop. They're like, "Oh, cows poop now." That's great.
Yeah. And the pop sound it does when he poops, I always thought I was always proud of myself for managing to get that to work ever from the start. Sorry.
Yes. So, Gany's surface is kind of it's a compilation of a lots of vanilla style features for the overworld. So, did you, I
Yeah,
guess, did most of those features start out already, or did you add those over time?
yeah. Since I decided to start, and from the beginning, I started adding things that I've always wanted to have in vanilla, but felt that I didn't know any mods that have them, or things like that. So that's what and so I could divide them properly. I decided to make Gany's End, Nether, and Surface. So someone who only wants the Nether stuff doesn't have to get the End stuff. So I divided them then in those three mods, and just thought, oh, what would I like? A crafting table that you can keep your stuff in and close the GUI. So I added that.
Yeah.
The rain detector that emits a redstone signal when it's raining. That's also one of the first things I added. What else did I add? The net that allows you to catch bats and squids, because I always thought it was annoying to have to, you want to make a squid farm, then you can't really drag them close to your base or something like that. So added a net so you could carry them and so on. And I would play with friends, and they would come to me and say, "Oh, you should add this thing." So then I would add it, and yeah,
Huh. And there's also systems like tea and stuff, which I guess,
yeah.
yeah,
It was mostly because of the whole, British thing.
yeah.
I was living in England at a time, and you know, we're crazy about tea. So I thought I'm going to add tea, and made tea really, really awesome, and gives you loads of debuffs and heals you from everything you do. And
I,
there's even an Easter egg on it. I don't know if you know.
I do not.
If you if you invert on the recipe for tea, if you put the milk in before the water, it makes a manky cup of tea, which doesn't give you the positive debuffs. It only gives you the bad ones. It's it's kind of a joke
Yeah,
on foreigners who don't make tea properly. They put the milk in first, which is just dreadful. So
huh.
you should never do that.
Ruins the tea.
Yes, absolutely.
So your other mods, Gany's Nether and Gany's End, I guess those came afterwards. Were those just evolutions on what you do with Gany's surface, but for the other dimensions?
Yeah, exactly. It's things that I've always wanted to add to the Nether and to the End, but I didn't want them all included in the same bundle because people would complain and add me for config options to disable certain things. So I thought, let's spread them out as much as I can.
Yeah,
And it's the same thing. I always thought the end was kind of bare. There's once you get there, there's really nothing to do after you kill the dragon. So then I decided to add the endium ore and give you the powerful armor and everything.
yeah,
And same thing for the Nether, which has started. The main feature was kind of the crops, where you could plant quartz and blaze rods and all of that. Because I always thought it was annoying to have to go around in the Nether. The terrain really doesn't. It's not very prone for exploration. So I always thought, yeah, what if I could just grow them?
Yeah,
To be honest, yeah. Sorry.
sorry, you can continue. You can continue.
Yeah, nowadays I don't really like the idea anymore of growing crops, but back then I really liked it, and I was really proud of myself for getting that right. And I mean, loads of people liked it as well, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, in the Nether, it's a really useful feature to have. Just those crops, like it actually adds, and it makes the Nether a somewhat appealing place to go to.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you kind of have to search for them. They're really rare, so kind of yeah, it gives you a bit more of an objective when you get to the Nether. It's not just oh, I'm gonna search for quartz. It's like oh, I'm gonna find a quartz bush so I can harvest it, bring it to the overworld with me, and build a farm and all that.
Yeah, it's really useful, I guess. I mean, I'm surprised I don't see all those mods in more mod packs because honestly, they really do. It's not often we see quality of life mods like that that focus on the little things.
Yeah.
But
In I remember when they first got included, it wasn't the FTB Horizons pack. It was a few months after I had released them already, and after that they got included in some packs here and there, but never in any big packs.
yeah, well, there's always a first. Maybe the next tech it will have them. We don't know. But your other mods are a lot more I think I'm not sure if they're more popular, but lots of people know them as well. They're more integration style mods, like another one bites the
Yeah,
dust and wood stuff. So how did that come
yeah.
about?
It's because once I felt I was done with Gany's Nether End and Surface, I thought, okay, I want to carry on modding. This is fun, but what do I do? I didn't really have any ideas for a big like tech mod or magic mod. So I thought, well, why not? Why don't I just make things like create bridges between the mods that I like, so that they can interact better?
Huh.
Always thought it was annoying how you install thermal expansion and then you can't process its metals on IC2 machines. So then another one bites the dust came about. Wood stuff, how some mod adds a type of wood. I want to make a chest with it, but I can't because, well, I mean, I guess chest is a bad example. I suppose I should say fence or a fence gate. So yeah, it was more so I could play my mod packs better because I always played Minecraft on my own. I always made my own mod packs.
Huh.
So there were kind of mods that were like, I can install this mod here, and then all these mods that I want to play with are going to work a bit better together.
Yeah, your mods really play well together. Even the ones that aren't purely integration based, they play really nicely
Yeah,
with other mods.
yeah.
But
It's because of this. Ever since the beginning, my will to mod always came from let's make my experience better. That's why I call them Gany surface. It's the things that I wanted in the game. It's so yeah. So it was always I play with Buildcraft, IC2, thermal expansion. So let's make mods that create a better interaction between them.
yeah, it seems to me like we should have a Gany's pack just with all the mods you use.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I play. My mods and a couple of others. Like, well, I haven't played Minecraft in a while actually, but last time I played, I think Red Power was still about. Was the last time I actually made a mod pack and played it thoroughly.
Oh wow. So
But yeah,
wait,
it was. Sorry.
oh sorry. So that would be back in 147 was the last time you
Yeah, one
really.
for 147, I think. Yeah, 147 was the last time I actually built a huge base and got to the end of it. Sort of. I remember. Yeah, the last thing I did was build a quantum suit on the IC2 quantum suit, the gravity suit. Sorry, that allowed it to fly about and playing with my friends.
Huh.
Ever since then, I haven't really played for more than a couple of hours in a single world. Always because then I'd start playing and then see, ooh, I really want a mod that does this, and then I'd quit the game and start making the mod, and then completely forget about the game.
Yeah, so sometimes I feel like that with mod packs. I make those occasionally on a Curse Forge. I'll just see, oh, this mod's pretty awesome. I'll stick these things together, and there goes my solo play or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And was kind of like that with another one bites the dust. It was supposed to be like this quick mod that would just allow me to process thermal expansion stuff. No, process Tinker's construct metals on IC2. Was supposed to be this 15-minute mod, and it turned into this huge project that integrates now I think like over 20 mods together.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
And but But yeah,
And
it is a lot more popular than Gunny Surf. I think it has over 1 million downloads, and Gunny Surfers and the other ones have a few thousand.
yeah, I guess that makes sense because so many people
Yeah,
want a mod. I mean, if they, I mean, lots of people play with Buildcraft or IC2 or those mods, and they
yeah,
want integration between them.
yeah. It's a simple mod that you just throw in your mod pack, and everything just works. So it makes it easier for you to, you don't have to mess with configs. Well, you can if you want, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And yeah, you just throw it in, and everything, all the metals just interact.
But yeah, definitely, it's pretty awesome. More recently, I guess you've been working on, I think more recently, Headcrumbs, which is the mod that
Yeah,
basically gives you celebrity heads as loot from
yeah,
certain mobs.
yeah. I think it's my newest published mod. I think I published. I actually don't remember if it was the newest, but it's definitely my most popular mod, and it's the one I put the least effort in because it was extremely simple to make. But yeah, it adds humans, so you can actually find the celebrities in your world,
Mhm.
and you can find their heads as chest loot, and also heads from all sorts of mobs. All of the mods in vanilla, and some heads from other mods that I usually play with, like Twilight Forest, Thorncraft. I think it's there too, and a couple of others that were actually requested by other people.
Huh. Yeah, and Headcrumbs I think is also it's I think lots of streamers play with it because it's just very
Yeah,
it's one of those ridiculous but kind of fun mods that people like to
yeah,
put in.
yeah. I love watching people play with it. It's really funny when like people find themselves or find their friends, and get their strange loots, because I don't know if you know, I added some kind of Easter eggs as well to it.
Huh.
Some celebrities have different loot than others.
Huh.
For example, you can get redstone if you kill Seth Bling. You can, and there's several others. You can. I think there's about 20 or 30 different Easter eggs in the game. I don't like to tell them so that people can have fun trying to find them. So,
Huh.
but yeah, it's amusing to watch people play it.
Yeah, that's really neat. And I think I'm not sure if you've seen, but Maya Knight, which is a pretty big thing, I think they were playing with Headcrumbs on whatever pack they were doing.
Really, I didn't know, because I've been kind of away from the internet in general lately, so I don't know. The
Huh.
last one I saw was Etho. He started playing some Skyblock map, and I noticed that his mod pack has headcrumbs in it,
Huh.
and that was quite amusing
Yeah.
because one of the guys, I think Vintage Beef, got Seth Bling's head and was wearing it about, and it was quite funny.
Yeah, it is a very kind of funny mod, which
Yeah,
is those end up being the most popular oftentimes.
yeah. It's just amusing how it's a mod. It's literally the mod that took me the least time to code. It was really simple to make, and it's the most popular one.
Yep, that's just how it works sometimes. And at Futurum, I think that's another one of your more recent mods that is basically meant
Yeah,
to add future functionality from later versions of Minecraft into the current, I guess, established modded version. So right now that'd be 1.7.
yeah, precisely. Um, well, now I suppose 1.7 is starting to wither, but back then, when it first started, it was no one wanted to port for 1.8 because it was really annoying with the whole, rendering system rewrite. But they wanted the features because honestly, they are quite cool. So I thought, well, why not backport them? And so I just started doing that. Then 1.9 came about, ported some stuff from that as well. So yeah, and people liked it as well. I think I'm not sure how popular it is. I don't really look at the download numbers, but I'm assuming. I guess mod packs might include it. I don't know.
Yeah. Have there been any people who I guess like have been like, "What are you doing? Like, why aren't you focusing on developing for later versions or something?" Like, are there any I guess people I guess angry that you aren't uh that you're giving people I guess a way to play on 1.7 still?
Yeah, I think I remember some of the one Forge author actually got mad. He like gave a mini rant on Twitter about it, about like how if people stopped, instead of putting the effort into backporting things into actually porting things to 1.8, then maybe we could move forward,
Wait,
something like
did
that.
his name start with L?
No.
Oh, okay. I was.
Surprisingly enough, no.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of you watching, some of you will get that. But So yeah. But I guess you've kind of
But
taken a high.
honestly,
Sorry. Continue.
sorry. No, just to close that up, I kind of understand his point. People really should start porting. It was just that it was really annoying having to rewrite your entire mod just so it works again in the exact same way as it used to. It's hard to find a motivation to do that.
Yeah, it's always a drag with newer Minecraft versions 'cause sometimes it just seems.
Yeah,
I've heard from
and
modders
then
that it just seems like they're changing stuff for the sake of changing stuff.
yeah, exactly. And some of the changes are nice, some of the changes aren't so good, and then they cause us to have to rewrite our entire rendering system to one that isn't as flexible as the one that was in place before. So yeah, so then modders just say, well, let's just stay on 1.710. But that's changing now. I think most people are moving to 1.9 already. I'm the one who got left behind.
Yeah. You've taken a little bit of a hiatus recently. Is that because of, I guess, the big changes that have been made, or have there been other things going on?
Yeah. Well, it's basically two things. One, yes, the big changes, they kind of put me off because I like to create things. I like to add new features. I don't really want to sit around like rewriting everything. And two is also personal reasons. I recently moved countries. I was living in England, now I'm living in Brazil. And so, that whole situation is kind of hectic. So
Huh.
it's taken me a while to put my life back on track before I can start, dedicating time to modding again. But I don't intend to quit. I want to go back to it. I really like it and I miss it.
Huh. Does that mean we're gonna see some South American influence in Gany surface or some of your mods soon?
Yeah, adding some, I don't know, football and I guess naked women. That's pretty much all.
Well, that boosts the downloads.
I guess I'd probably get it taken down before it has the chance to boost the downloads, but I could try.
Yeah, you never know what curse will let through.
Yeah, I could add some Steve with a big booty. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, that would be something else. But yeah, but you're I guess so. Are you working on any new mods, or are you just gonna try
um,
to update your already existing ones?
I the port for 1.9, 1.94 actually for Headcrumbs is pretty much done.
Oh, awesome.
Like the functionality is all in. It's just the rendering that needs sorting out. I started porting Gany's End because it's the smallest one, so I thought, oh, let's start small.
Hmm.
But that's going terribly, and it's taking me forever to do it. And even more so considering I have like 15 minutes a day to dedicate to it.
Huh.
But I've always wanted to make my own big feature mod, kind of, like Buildcraft, IC2, a mod that is complete on its own and
Right.
kind of changes the way you play the game.
Hmm.
And I got started a few months ago on a mod called Gany Tech,
Ooh.
but I never released it and I never finished it. But it was quite big. It had its own energy system. It had loads of machines, and it was kind of based off of Red Power. But yeah, I never got around to finishing it, and I think it's stuck on 1.710, and I haven't touched it in months. But one day, maybe one day, I'll have a big mod. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a dream.
Well, if you're working on a big new mod, now's the time because with the absence of bigger mods on the newer versions, perfect time
Yeah,
to come in and take the crown.
yeah, it would be a good time, except I don't have the time. So if Gany Tech is stuck in 1.710, if I were to port it, it would take ages. If I were to rewrite it, it would also take ages. I think because of my time constraints, by the time I finished it, pretty much everyone would be on 1.9 already. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to carry on with it. I want to do my own thing instead of like being inspired by Red Power. I want to make something different. Just
Yeah.
need the time and the time and the dedication really.
Yeah, and I
But
get
yeah,
it sometimes it almost feels like whack-a-mole because what 1.9.4 Forge came out the other day, and I think that was the
yeah,
same day the 1.10 first snapshot came out.
yeah, exactly. I think I don't know if it was in the same day, but it was definitely very close together. It was like maybe a day or two in between them. I'm not sure, but Yeah, and then you start porting a mod to 1.9, and by the time you're finishing it, you see 1.10 coming about, and you think, should I wait? Should I not? And then it kind of demotivates you from getting started on a big project because you think, by the time I'm done with this, people are going to be on like 1.12 or something.
Yeah, I guess you see with some modders like iChun, what they really do is sometimes mods don't get, unless they're really popular, their mods don't
Yeah,
last that many versions, but they'll make a new
yeah,
kind of smaller mod every time they're, I guess, inspired, when a newer
yeah,
version comes out.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of, he's just doing what's fun to him. Oh, I want to make new mods. I don't want to bother with porting them, so I
Hmm.
just carry on making, spitting them out as much as I can for the whatever version is currently relevant.
Yeah. Is it kind of hard to, I guess, more than just technically, but like, do you ever feel when you're updating a mod, like, oh, like not from a technical level, but just from a design
Mhm.
level, oh, I shouldn't have made this decision. Why did like what?
Yeah.
I might as well start a new mod or change a ton of stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, because Gany Surface End and Nether were my first ever mods, and I made them, I think, over 3 years ago now. Um, when I look back at them, loads of things that I added, I think this is kind of cringy. It's a bit embarrassing, honestly. And if I could, I would completely rewrite them. And to be honest, right now, I don't really feel like porting them exactly for that reason, because I think this is really not what I want in the game anymore. Because um, I used to look at the game in one way, and then your view kind of changes as you mature.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, when you're just a modder getting started, you just want to add all of these wacky things and whatever's currently annoying you. I'm playing the game. I kind of want a squid farm. Oh, so I'm going to add this block that gives you squid ink. That's kind. I think there is one of those in Gany Surface still. So, and then a few years pass, and you look back at that, and you think, yeah, that block really wasn't a good idea. But
Yeah.
then I feel bad about removing it because some people like it, and then I think, yeah, I can't remove it. People like it, but then I don't want to port it because it's poopy. But so yeah, it's I don't know. I want to port the Gany's mods, but I think it would be actually better to just make something completely new. Keep some of the features, the ones that I like, the ones that maybe are more popular, and just ditch some of the crappy ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't realize how hard it is, I think, to keep a mod's identity and but also
Yeah.
evolve it. Like,
Yes, it is quite hard
yeah, and
to.
then continue.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting
No,
you.
that's fine.
But yeah, it's always once the mod starts to mature, then you get scared of adding new things into it because you think, is this going to resonate well with everything that's already on the mod? And is this are people going to like this? Are people not going to like this? And yeah, it becomes kind of scary. And then sometimes you just think maybe I should just make a small mod that contains just this, which is kind of what I started making. A couple of really small mods that add only one tiny thing, like wood
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wood stuff kind of started inside Gunny's surface, and then I split it off. Headcrumbs as well. It started inside Gunny's end, split it off, so that I don't need to bother with is this going to work with what already exists. I can just say, it's a whole new thing. Install it with Gunny's end if you want, but if you don't, just use it without it.
Yeah, I guess you always have the way your mods are designed. It's always if you have a feature that you wanna throw off in a standalone mod. I guess that's not
Yeah,
extremely hard because of just the way they're very modular or
yeah,
just because it's a collection of features, so you can always kind
yeah.
of expand that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the on Gunny's end, they're kind of more interconnected because of the endium material. Everything kind of depends on it.
Hmm.
But on Gunny's surface is very, yeah, like you said, is very modular. Everything is independent. It's like, oh, there's the block that makes ink, and then there's the crafting tables. They aren't connected at all. If I want to split them into two separate mods, I could do that easily. It would be just copy paste basically. I wouldn't have to change anything,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
is which is good and bad. It's good because then it's easy. Um, it's good because I can add new features without having to worry about what we were talking about just now. The whole is this going to work with what already exists?
Hmm.
But it's bad in the sense that sometimes you get people who install your mod just for that one feature amongst 100, and then they complain, oh, I just want that one feature, I don't want the 100 ones, can you add config options? And then I have to go on and add like hundreds and hundreds of config options to disable everything just because the person wants the crafting table and doesn't want the rest. So that gets a bit under your skin sometimes, but it's fine. I understand it.
Yeah, I think specifically, I guess for mod pack authors, it's more like sometimes they'll just want one thing and they'll want to. That's why lots of mods break themselves up into modules now that people can
Yeah,
individually download.
yeah, it's definitely what I'm going to do from now on. If I have one small thing that I want to make, I'm definitely making it a standalone mod. And if I am to make a big mod, then it's going to be one that everything depends on everything, so that you can't just disable a bit of it. It's just all interconnected, like IC2. You don't get IC2 just for the macerator. It
Right.
wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, that's kind of the route I want to go to. Modular mods for small things, one big feature mod. But who knows when that's going to happen?
Yeah, well, I look forward to it. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on today to be interviewed. And I guess, do you have any like closing thoughts?
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun. It's the first time I've been interviewed, and I think it's the first time my voice is being recorded on a YouTube video, as in like
Huh,
publicly for everyone.
huh.
I have some cringy YouTube videos of my own, which let's not get
We
into.
we all do.
But yeah, it's the first time everyone's hearing my voice.
Well, yep, this
But
is the voice of Ganymedes preserved forever in history now.
hopefully it's not too cringy. And yeah, I hope I did well on my first ever interview.
Yeah, it was great
And
having you on. You were awesome. Thank you so much.
thank thank you for having me.
Yep, no problem. And thank you all of you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.